Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakahakwadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who ruled and teach well. And peace and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video. And in this video, I'll be profiling an article from naturalnews.com titled, Trump Says Death Penalty a Proper Punishment for Anti-Semantics in America. And hey, Donald Trump has been known for making some inflammatory and radical statements. And, this is just another example of it. And best believe that everything you're hearing about with anti-semantics or so-called, hate speech or discrimination and bills and legislation getting passed for it is mainly targeting the men of the Lord, the prophets of the Most High, and, just the Hebrew Israelites in general, because ever since, especially at GMS or Great Millstone, as well as the brothers that come in the spirit of GMS, ever since our apostles and elders on down have been out on the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this online, breaking down the scriptures in 144% accuracy. Hey, this society as we know it, under the rulership of Esau Edom, the so-called white man, has been coming to an end. And the elites know what time it is. They know that when Israel's waking up and calling back on their power and the prophets are out, that whatever heathen nation that's ruling at the time is going to be taken out of power. And they also know that they're the biblical Edomites and what the fate of the Edomites are when they're taken out of power. 1,000 years of hardcore bondage and slavery before their entire nation is culled from this planet. So as it says in Revelation 12, verse 12, the devil is about to come down in great wrath because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And we also know in the scriptures through prophecy that persecution for, believing and preaching in this word will come. And some of us will be martyrs or put to death for believing and preaching in this word. And, with the way things are looking, it's up in the air whether we're going to have an election or not. But regardless of who wins, that persecution will come. But hey, if Donald Trump, becomes president again, even more so, because as we'll see in this article, he's calling for the death penalty for those that speak anti-semantics. And in the past, he said he wanted to bring back, old forms of execution, like the firing squad, hangings, and that he also wanted to televise it publicly. And, over here at GMS, we believe in the spirit that through the reincarnation, which reincarnation is biblical, that Donald Trump is actually Emperor Nero of the Roman Empire. And what was Nero known for? Persecuting the Christians and putting them to death. Hey, so he would be the perfect man to come back in his lot and do the same to the Christians today. The true Christians being, the Israelites, or you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And within that, the elect that truly believe on Yahawashi, the Son of the Most High, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus, just as the Israelites in the past, were the Christians because what? They believed in Yahawashi. But many people, including his supporters, missed it. But about 5 years ago, Donald Trump spoke at a rally about how he believes the punishment for anti-semantics in America should be the death penalty. To a crowd of cheering supporters, a crowd of cheering Muppets, Trump appears to have been referring, and listen closely, to a deadly shooting at a local kosher grocery store in New Jersey, which I believed happened back in 2018, right before the situation with the C-19. And it involved so-called black Hebrew Israelites that did it. And then if I remember correctly, more information came out about the so-called shooters, that they had information at their house or in their manifestos that referenced Louis Farrakhan or at least the Nation of Islam. And you know how they like to link us, with the Muslims and Islam, in which that whole shooting, and like a lot of these other things out there, when you really scrutinize the evidence, it was very fishy. But to a crowd of cheering supporters, Trump appears to have been referring to a deadly shooting at a local kosher grocery store in New Jersey, and he described as evil anti-Semitic attack that he called an assault on all of us, or it could have been the synagogue shooting that happened around the same time. It's an assault on humanity, Trump continued. Watch the video below. It will require all of us working together to extract the hateful poison of anti-Semantics from our world. This was an anti-Semantic attack at its worst. The scourge of anti-Semantics cannot be ignored, cannot be tolerated, and it cannot be allowed to continue. We cannot allow it to continue. And, we're hearing the same calls today, all the way here in 2024, with what? This whole situation going on with the 1948ers and the Palestinians and Hamas. You've got a lot of those college protests, which information is coming out that they're funded by none other than George Soros, just like those George Floyd protests were funded by him. And what? You've got legislation being pushed through for new anti-Semantics bills, which one of the recent ones is using a definition from one of those organizations for anti-Semantics that says saying the JOOs killed Jesus is considered anti-Semantics. So what? If that fully goes through and that definition is a part of the parameters for what's considered anti-Semantics, that would outlaw the Bible. Hey, making a man an offender for a word, as it says in Isaiah 29. You would be hit with penalties. Hey, they're going to come and arrest people. And what? We're having Donald J. Trump talking about the death penalty being implemented for those that, commit anti-Semantics acts. And again, you'll have events out here that are FALSEFLAGSs to, get the ministry blamed and to rope us in as black identity extremists, domestic terrorists, enemies of the state, so they can be justified in rolling on us. Whenever anti-Semantics is detected, Trump wants it to be condemned. Not only that, Trump also wants all Americans to stand with our 1948er brothers and sisters to defeat anti-Semantics and vanquish the forces of hate. That's what it is, which to him means killing all offenders. Now, let's play this clip right here. This is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
This evil anti-Semitic attack is an assault on all of us. It's an assault on humanity. It will require all of us working together to extract the hateful poison of anti-Semitism from our world. This was an anti-Semitic attack at its worst. The scourge of anti-Semitism cannot be ignored, cannot be tolerated, and it cannot be allowed to continue. We can't allow it to continue. It must be confronted and condemned everywhere it rears its very ugly head. We must stand with our Jewish brothers and sisters to defeat anti-Semitism and vanquish the forces of hate. That's what it is. Through the centuries, the Jews have endured terrible persecution, and you know that. We've all read it, we've studied it. They've gone through a lot. And those seeking their destruction, we will seek their destruction. Now, when you have crimes like this, whether it's this one or another one on another group, We have to bring back the death penalty. They have to pay the ultimate price. They have to pay the ultimate price. They can't do this. They can't do this to our country.
Straight to the point. This group or that group, what other groups could that, include? The alphabet group, Edomites, or so-called white people in general. Anything, we preach against, that could be labeled under that. And with these different bills and legislations getting passed, just make it that much easier to persecute us. And again, put some of us to death. But that's it with this article. And, like I said, we believe that Donald Trump is Nero in the reincarnation. And Nero was known for persecuting and putting the Christians to death. So if he were selected again to become president, he'd be the perfect man for the job. And what he's known as one of the most pro-1948 presidents we've ever seen. They minted a coin of him over in the land of Israel with his face on one side and Cyrus the Great on the other side. And also he was pushing heavy for military action against Iran. But regardless of who becomes president, all these prophecies will come to their fulfillment. But again, if he were the one to be selected, he'd be the perfect man for the job. But now I'm going to go to an article on, I can't really read the title, eyewitness to history.com, titled Nero Persecutes the Christians, 64 AD. A generation after the death of Hamashiach, Hamashiachism had reached Rome in the form of an obscure offshoot of, says, Judaism, popular among the city's poor and destitute. Members of this religious sect spoke of the coming of a new kingdom and a new king, which is exactly what the modern day Christians, the Hebrew Israelites are doing today. We're speaking of the kingdom of heaven to come and it being ruled over by our King Yahushua. These views provoked suspicions among the J authorities who rejected the group and fear among the Roman authorities who perceived these sentiments as a threat to America. Again, nothing new under the sun. You're seeing how a lot of these different Israelite groups out here, such as IUIC, for example, always throw GMS under the bus as much as they can. And a lot of these groups have changed up the doctrine, which when you have a 501c3, there are certain things you can't talk about, such as the name of the Lord and, other stuff like that. So what? It would seem that a lot of them took the bag. And just like in the past, you had a lot of the Pharisees and Sadducees that were linked in with Rome. You have a lot of these groups out here that are linked in with Rome again, the American government. And we know that the American government is suspicious of us because what? With the prophesying of this word, we're bringing about these prophecies and the downfall of America and Esau Edom's rulership as a whole, as it says in Matthew 24, verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. In the summer of 64, Rome suffered a terrible fire that burned for 6 days and 7 nights, consuming almost 3/4 of the city. The people accused the Emperor Nero for the devastation, claiming he set the fire for his own amusement. And when you look into that history, all the places that got burnt down, Nero built, a massive palace and I believe other structures in the wake of that. So what? An ancient example of a FALSEFLAG. In order to deflect these accusations and placate the people, Nero laid blame for the fire on the Christians. The emperor ordered the arrest of a few members of the sect, who under torture accused others until the entire Christian populace was implicated and became fair game for retribution. Hey, they need the death penalty. Hey, anti-semantics legislation and bills being passed. As many of the religious sect that could be found were rounded up and put to death in the most horrific manner for the amusement of the citizens of Rome. The ghastly way in which victims were put to death aroused sympathy among many Romans, although most felt their execution justified. In their very deaths, they were made the subjects of sport, for they were covered with the hides of wild beasts and were worried to death by dogs, or nailed to crosses, or set to fire, and when the day waned, burned to serve for the evening lights. Nero offered his own garden players for the spectacle and exhibited a Circensian game, indiscriminately mingling with the common people in the dress of a charioteer or else standing in his chariot. For this cause, a feeling of compassion arose towards the sufferers, though guilty and deserving of exemplary capital punishment, because they seemed not to be cut off for the public good, but were victims of the ferocity of one man. And, the Colosseum and the gladiator games were bread and circus back then, just like, these sports, these reality TV shows, which are televised, are your modern day bread and circus. And what is Trump known for? Being a media mogul as well, who had a lot of reality TV shows. Which brings me to my next article on PoliticaUSA.com titled, Trump wants to bring back firing squads and televise footage of executions. Sources close to Trump say that the failed former president wants to kill more people with the federal death penalty, including by using firing squads, and put the footage on television, making a spectacle out of the death and execution of criminals. And as we just read in that article, those that commit anti-Semitic acts and hateful acts against other groups, they should get the death penalty. The former president, if reselected, is still committed to expanding the use of the federal death penalty and bringing back banned methods of execution, the sources say. He has even, one of the sources recounts, mused about televising footage of executions, including showing condemned prisoners in the final moments of their lives. Specifically, Trump has talked about bringing back death by firing squad, by hanging, and according to two of the sources, possibly even the guillotine. Like we said, we believe Donald Trump is Nero in the reincarnation. And if he's reselected, just like he persecuted the Israelites in the past, he's going to do the same today. And as we can see, just like a lot of the Israelites, the Christians were put to death in the Colosseum and made a public spectacle, looking like he's going to do the same today by televising public deaths, with bringing back old execution methods, including the guillotine. And again, persecutions and some brothers and sisters being martyrs for this truth is all a part of biblical prophecy. This is Revelation chapter 20, verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. The 144,000 of the elect of the nation of Israel, those brothers that stood firm, preaching the words of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, being martyrs for it, and then what? Receiving those crowns and sitting on those thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel, which, all Israel is going to be righteous. So, when it says judging, it just means the ranking. They're going to be the top of the nation of Israel, but we're going to be judging the heathens, Abaratazam of that number, and governing the world. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushai. And what were one of those methods that Trump wanted to bring back? The guillotine. And for the word of the Most High. Hey, this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and they shall be a man shall be made an offender for a word, which had not worshipped the beast. Hey, this current system we're living in, the last leg of the fourth beast in Daniel chapter 2, those iron toes mixed with miry clay, the reincarnated Roman Empire, which is this NATO EU system that the U.S. is a part of, and, the top nation in, and who's at the head, pulling the strings like the puppet master, the elites of these Edomites, such as the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, who are 1948ers themselves. which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, not given into the financial, political, and military aspects of this system, and best believe these anti-simulation and hate speech laws are a part of the image of the beast, and the men of the Lord aren't going to bend the knee to it, so they'll be made an example from it, be persecuted for not doing so. Neither had received his MARK, the MARKOFTHEBEAST in Revelation 13 verses 16, which is that RFID/NFC C-hip implant upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years, the first 1,000 years of the kingdom of heaven, building it up, through these heathens. But as we can clearly see, persecution and martyrdom is a part of biblical prophecy. And as we read in that information, with the way things are lining up, Trump, Nero, would be the perfect man for the job. This is Revelation chapter 2, verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil, that deceiver, Esau Edom, shall cast some of you into prison that ye may be tried. For what? Anti-semantics, hate crimes, are being blamed for some FALSEFLAGS situation. And then, with these deep fakes and AI technology, they can take footage and the voice of brothers and create whole scenes and narratives where brothers are doing things and saying things that they didn't do or say to further persecute us, that ye may be tried. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days, which just means a complete amount of tribulation for whatever your lot is. Be thou faithful unto death, if that's your lot, and I will give thee a crown of life. No matter what comes our way, to you sincere brothers and sisters, hey, take it like a good soldier of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to the very end. And you're going to be of that elect number, the first fruits in the kingdom of heaven. And, these are comforting words, because while it says, some of us will be put to death, beheaded for not bowing down to this system, as it also says in this verse, if we're faithful unto the end, we will receive, that crown of life. But now I'm going to close it out in 2 Esdras chapter 16, verses 71 to 75. They shall be like madmen, sparing none. Who are these madmen? These Edomites. Using their goons, these troops, these police, these mercenaries, these whether foreign or domestic, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Who are those that fear the Lord? The Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, beginning with the elect. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Like they say, they got that red, that black, and that yellow list where it talks about the authorities coming in the dead of night and kicking in your door and arresting you. And depending on where you stand on that list, you're either going to be for re-education or execution. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses, and what? Cast some of you into prison. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold is tried in the fire. Be thou faithful unto death, if that's your lot, and ye shall receive a crown of life. For those, brothers that are going to have to go through that, hey, it's going to be known that these truly were the men of the Lord, because the Most High is going to put that spirit on you, like the 7 brothers of the Maccabees, to take that death manfully. And, just as Antiochus, when he saw the faith that those 7 brothers had in getting tortured and put to death, and even, still condemning him, the authorities that are going to do the same to the brothers that are martyrs, they're going to marvel at just their firmness and their boldness in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai in the face of death. Verse 74, Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Hey, brothers that are martyrs, hey, they're going to be delivered by having that strong, manly spirit to take that death And then, they're going to be to the brothers that do survive all the way through. We're going to see miracles take place, angels intervene on our behalf, and brothers, get spiritual powers, which is, going to show who are my chosen. Verse 75, be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your God. The most to the elect, which, Abarat Azam of that number, the Most High is going to have our back all the way until the end of this thing. All we need to do is stand firm and have faith in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai that he will do so, which he will. So that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.